Are you excited?
I'm nervous.
My mistakes don't own me. These battles don't control me.
Hey guys!
Welcome to Useful Mistakes.
Today we have our guest.
Walter.
So Walter is Sarah's friend from, you guys knew each other in high school, right?
Yeah, well, I was in high school.
Yeah, I just got out of college.
Yeah.
Dropped out of college.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. What did you go for originally?
Originally I went for psychology.
Oh.
Yep. And I was going to try and become a social worker to help kids get adopted.
Alright, that actually ties in a lot.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, so today we'll be talking about foster care and adoption. So how old were you when you were put into foster care?
I was around 4 or 5 years old, and around then. My mom had to give me up at a young age, and in hopes for a better life for myself.
Do you remember like life before that too much?
I remember a little bit. So I remember like a couple of the houses we lived at. I remember a couple of the people we met. A lot of it is music that I remember, like because music has been constant throughout everybody's life. But for me, it's just been like I've listened to so many different genres of music that the genre of music is almost like a placement of my memory to where it was at.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So your songs take you back.
Yeah.
Kind of. So how long were you in the foster care?
I was in and out with my my biological mother from when I was born to about when she gave me up, and then I started living with my biological dad when I was about 5, and then got back into the foster care when I was about 7.
What are your views on foster care? How was it for you and your experience?
For me, my experience was it was a roller coaster for sure. It wasn't the greatest. Definitely very difficult, very trying. I don't really have the best views on foster care and the foster system that is in place right now. I think they're trying to make improvements, but as far as making the right choice, it's a conflict of interest because you're trying to take into consideration of the parents' wishes as well as what's best for the child, and at times it's not always what's best for the child isn't what the child wants.
Yeah.
So it ends up not being what's truly like mentally best, but as far as the standpoint is socially what's best for them, it's a better fit.
I mean, of course, even if it was perfect, it's still obviously hard on the kid, the parents,
Right.
everyone.
Exactly. It's tough to have that separation from each other, even knowing.
So was your biological parents still in your life?
Yes, I still contact my biological mom. I keep in contact with her every now and then, or as much as I can when I can. She's not in the same state as us right now, so it's just a little bit more difficult to stay in more contact. But good thing we got cell phones and text messaging and whatnot.
But you didn't find your mom until you were how old?
I didn't find my mom until I was 18.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you were separated from her for a while then.
Yes, for about 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you found out that you have a brother, right?
Yeah, as soon as I found my mom and reunited with my mom, that's when I had learned that I had a little brother. And so it was pretty cool. It was just pretty much like I saw him and I was just like, yep, that's my little brother. He looks exactly like me.
Yeah,
and I was like,
he totally does.
So I was just like, yeah, there's no way I can't not love him. So we just was family instantly.
A little mini-me.
Yeah.
How did you end up getting back in contact with your mom?
So my foster parents had connections with DSS. I know them as DSS. I believe now they're like DCF or something like that.
Oh, really?
And so my previous foster parents had connections with some employees there, and they were able to hire a private agent to find it.
Oh wow.
Yep.
And was she like happy?
Yeah, she was all for it.
Oh,
And she was actually more nervous that I was actually mad at her
Oh
for
yeah.
having to give me up and all, but it wasn't that case at all.
It was probably like, both of you kind of nervous, and then more like, well, I hope anyways, it was like a relief.
Yeah.
Like after like seeing each other again and like.
Yeah, it definitely was, because like for me, it's like one of the last things I remember was like before being given up was like me knowing that I was gonna come back with my mom, and so pretty much like my whole entire like foster care like time going through that was just me just keeping in mind that like all this at the end, I'm just gonna come back to my mom anyway. So that's what I just kept in mind to get through it.
So tell us a little bit about your foster family that adopted you.
They were great people. I'm not gonna lie. They did a spectacular job taking care of me. They gave me so many advantages. They gave me so much without me asking. You know, it was food, shelter, water, you know, your basics. And then, you know, they also adopted 3 other children from other parts of the world, and they had their hands full a lot. So I'm not saying that they didn't do a great job. They did a phenomenal job.
Do you remember like being in the like courtroom?
Yeah,
and all that?
so like
how was that?
so that was a tough time for me because I was 10 years old and it was like a day or two right after Christmas, and I just remember like my foster parents being like, "Hey, get dressed. We're going to go to the courthouse today, and we're going to sign your adoption papers." And they're just like, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And it happened.
Oh, that's just how they told you?
Yeah, but like pretty much.
Yeah.
And like that. Well, that's how I remember it. Like they probably told me like a month ahead.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I was so young. I just remember being in the judge's office, like after waiting for, we must have waited like 2 hours just to see the judge. I remember being in his office and he handed me the pen that everyone was using to sign the adoption papers. And he goes, "All right, you're the last one." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We need your signature."
Dude, that was probably like your first official signature ever in anything too.
Yeah, it really was. And like I was 10 years old and I was like, I used to think that once you start signing stuff, you're an adult. Like you're just a big kid, you know? And so I was like, oh, this is like actually like
legit.
You're like,
yeah.
I just learned cursive this
yeah,
week.
I was in 5th grade. I was like, oh, luckily I passed 4th grade cursive. Like, oh, I'm all set. I must have spent about 15, 20 seconds, and it felt like 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah.
And I was just contemplating. I was like, I really shouldn't sign this, actually.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah, because I'd previously spent the past 2 years living with them, with the foster family that was going to adopt me. One of the biggest things that I noticed that stuck out was that like I was always getting like reprimanded and grounded and this, that, and the other. And I was just thinking to myself, I thought to myself, I'm like, listen, like, bud, you're just a troublemaker. Like, this is me at 10 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're just a troublemaker.
Just knowing
like,
that yourself.
you're probably gonna cause this family a lot of issues. And then I was just like, but I've lived with so many different families. Like, I'm just tired at this point. Like, I just wanted to stop.
Yeah.
And so I just signed the papers and lived with them.
You hear horror stories a lot, of course, sadly. Did you have any experiences like that?
Yes, I had quite a few. I dealt with a lot of abuse from my biological father. I dealt with a lot of abuse from quite a bit of the foster families as well, a lot of neglect. I lived with one family. This woman kept me in a room, and I would only be allowed to leave the room once a week, and I would just to eat once a week. Yeah.
It's like really terrifying and sad that these people are like accepted to be foster parents.
Right.
Yeah.
They have so much to do, but at the same time, it's like these are lives, like children's lives.
Right. At the same time, like, this was the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that the system has changed quite a bit, where it's a lot more like
a lot of technology.
Yeah, a lot more strict and a lot more people checking in, because pretty much what it was for us was like foster care was anyone that signed up for foster care could be a foster parent, which just meant like you were just getting a paycheck for taking in a kid. And so like I would live with families that would have 12 foster kids at once running around the same house. And so it got to a point when I was like young enough to be I was young enough to know that I was my own person, but like technically not young enough to take care of myself, but I would still like run away from foster homes and just like wander around on the streets, just like acting like an adult and just being like, all right, like I'm gonna go to the store, buy some food and take care of myself and go home. And that's really it.
So like I always wanted, possibly, who knows, to like adopt a kid. And everyone is different, of course, but how do you feel like in your heart about like your adoptive family? Because I'm always like afraid, like if I do that, like are they gonna, no matter what I do, even if I'm amazing, are they gonna hate me?
In my foster family, we had a couple of us have learning disabilities. Like me myself, I have ADHD, so therefore I can't pay attention very well to many things. I have another brother who has Asperger's, and it's a semi-mild form of Asperger's, and like it pretty much like he's into like cards and whatnot, and he knows every single card to the T. And like so, but like he's OCD about it, and he's OCD about his room and everything else. So like you gotta treat each other differently. You gotta treat, if you're gonna adopt multiple children, or if you're gonna have your own and adopt, like you gotta treat them differently for their differences. However, there's got to be some baseline where you blanket them all the same and you treat them all the same, because you can't let some get away with some things and others not. Like it's all in one, all or none. It was definitely easy to figure out who had more leniency with our parents than me, and who didn't. And I'm not gonna say that I had it the most difficult, because I definitely brought a lot of it on to myself, but at the same time it was a lot more difficult looking.
Were you the first one adopted?
No, I was the last one.
Oh,
adopted.
okay.
But I am one of 4 adopted, and I'm the last one adopted, but I'm the 3rd youngest. So.
Oh, okay.
So what is your relationship with your adoptive parents today?
Today, we don't talk today.
Really?
Yeah. I did have a confrontation with them back at the beginning of 2019, and I had just confronted them with a lot of things that had been on my mind on how the inequality of treatment there was between the siblings and whatnot, and the favoritism that was going on. Because I went through a whole lot of therapy for going through the adoption and such, and being in it for so long, and it wasn't really my choice, so it just kind of agitated me more. And so it was a matter of they were trying to do the right thing for me without asking me what I wanted, kind of deal. It was more of a discussion of me letting them know, like, hey, you guys could have came to me for answers and you didn't. And so they were really upset with me calling them out for that. So they said I was wrong, and so I don't talk to them anymore.
Has there been any, like, have you or them tried to since then? No.
So the last time I spoke to them, they told me that I'm no longer part of the family. I'm no longer welcome at the house.
Wow.
Yes.
Sorry to hear that.
It's alright.
Do you feel like any of your successes suffered even through all of your hardship?
Yes. To be quite honest, I think one of the things that I suffer with, and it's very difficult for me to do, is to be able to connect with people. To be quite honest, a lot of things I've had to do has been on my own, and at the same time, everyone that I've been with and like lived with, or even just spoken to, I've always been told, hey, you got to take responsibility for your own actions, and you got to like own up to your own mistakes, because no one else is going to do it for you. So like now, learning from that and applying it, it's like I don't have, being adopted, and even though I don't talk to my family anymore and being in foster care, like me, I have the mindset that like I don't rely on other people, and I am just completely independent. So anything that goes wrong in my life is my fault. So therefore, I have to take full responsibility for everything that's wrong in my life and correct it from at every aspect that I can make it, even if it's making amends with people to making sure that I'm paying my bills on time.
Probably also just having like so many temporary people like just coming in and out at such a young age too.
Yeah.
Contributed to that a lot.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
So would you ever consider adopting?
I don't think I would.
No.
To be quite honest, I'm not blind to the nobleness of it, of why people would want to adopt. I just don't think, for me, after experiencing the experiences I've been through, I wouldn't want my child to have any doubt that I adopted them for feeling bad, or any other reason for the fact that I love them.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to like have your own family like someday?
I do one day, maybe, if it's right, if I'm financially set and everything, and things are going good for me in life. So.
I was so
She's like cheesing so hard.
I need to cut my face out.
Fuck you.
Dude, I was trying to be like, and then you looked over at me and I'm like, I'm sorry.
If you could give advice to a child that's in foster care, what would you tell them?
Honestly, I'd say just stay strong. Like, you just got to. Like, just know that you're going to get through it. Know that there is an end. Like, 18 is just a number. The foster care system, the DSS at the time, they would give a little bit of stipends every holiday to provide for the kids that foster parents had. We're taking care of each other. And so, like, for example, foster parents would get extra money for Thanksgiving to have a Thanksgiving dinner. And, like, we had hot dogs. Like, I would have, like, my last foster family, I had hot dogs for Thanksgiving.
What are they doing with that money?
So do you still talk to your siblings?
I just only talked to my sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she, like, we went through, like, we're the same age. We're 5 days apart. It's really weird because, like, everyone will ask us, like, oh, how old are you guys? We're like, we're the same age. Like, oh, you guys twins? We're like, no. And so, like, they get really thrown off by that. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, no, we're adopted. They're like, oh, okay. And so, like, yeah, we spent a lot of the same classes together, a lot of time taking care of each other. Mainly what it was is, like, we kind of did a lot of scheming in high school.
Yeah.
And, like, where, like, hey, don't tell mom we have homework, kind of deal. So.
That's good that someone had your back.
Yeah, like, she was, like, the only person that had my back throughout high school.
What has kept you going, like, through, you know, foster care and everything? Like, what was something that... Before
I turned 18, it's just the fact of reuniting with my mom and that idea.
Just like the idea of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, that was the only thing on my mind. I let my grades drop because of it. Like, I didn't care about anything else. I guess, like, sports too. It got me away from the house because it made me think that I was, like, in a different world kind of deal. Like, it was a different reality. Because I loved sports so much that, like, it just was natural to me that, like, I was just naturally, like, good at sports.
Yeah.
And so, like, I played soccer, basketball, baseball, track, football. I did as much as I could, just so that way I could be as good as I could, so that way I could find a reason to not be in the house anymore.
Do you play any sports today, or active in any way?
I just work out. Right now I'm trying to do physique competitions, and I'm gonna try and compete in my first show this year.
Nice.
So
There
see
you go.
how
That's
that
exciting.
goes. It's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
But after you do it, it's probably like such an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, I get so that I learned that after I do a show, I get 3 days of getting to eat whatever I want, and that's like I know that, like, to most people it's like you can eat whatever you want every day. It's like
no,
you can't. It's very strict dieting. And it's very tedious.
Yeah. Because you have, like, a lot of meals, right?
Yeah,
Every day.
I have 6 meals a day.
Yeah.
And especially, like, right before that, too, because it's, like, you need to, like, even, like, water and stuff, too, right?
Yeah.
Like, normally it's, like, drink all the water you can, but that, it's, like...
You have to, like, dehydrate yourself.
Yeah, right before the show, it's, like, yeah, you can only have, like, 8 ounces of water a day.
Oh
my god.
Yeah.
Do you have to get a tan?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the spray tan's gonna be weird.
Oiled up.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry. I'm not like I'm just looking I'm thinking like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, okay. So I'm thinking about like Zach.
Yeah.
And I know he's not. But he's really hairy.
Yeah.
So you have to shave your whole body and
Yeah.
like, do all of that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like
I'm gonna be wearing a regular bathing suit, so you know.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's like I'm not doing there's classic physique and then there's just regular physique, I think.
Yeah.
I'm still new to it. And then there's bodybuilding. And bodybuilding's where everyone looks like they have like shits for muscles.
Yeah.
Classic physique's a little bit smaller than that, and then regular physique is like people who wear the board shorts that are trying to look like they belong in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But when's the competition?
The first one, the earliest I'd be able to get ready for, I think, is at the beginning of May. Like May 8th is when I just learned about it. but I really fucked up my shoulder.
I heard.
Yes.
That
So
sucks.
been working through that and getting my progress back
Yeah.
slowly.
Always gotta be those fucking speed bumps.
Yeah.
But at least you're working through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're working out anyway, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, she showed me because I was like, what does he do? And she was like, I don't think he uses his arm.
And then him, like, I showed her the one you doing like the squat with the, but you were like had this arm down and this arm up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that works out. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your
No
experiences
problem.
with us.
Thank you for having me.
See you all next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, cause all that. I mean, like, my family, none of us are adopted, but I know who the fuck my mom's favorite is.
Yeah.
I talked
it's
to
not me.
Okay, but I talked to Jared and he's like, Alex is the favorite. He's like, Alex is the only girl, so she's or not the only girl. But like,
What do you mean?
the girl
Alex
is the.
is favorite?
I don't know. You're like the youngest, right? You're the youngest.
Yeah.
Young girl. That's what he was saying.
No.
And,
Don't
you're
listen
like a
to anything
favorite.
Jared
I know.
Even ask my mom. Or side note. Jared's the only boy, so he gets favorite for that. Jared's a little pussy ass bitch and cries mommy all the time, so he's the favorite because she needs to coddle him. And I don't know. I think that's it. Definitely. By the time I was born, my mom doesn't even have memories of me as a baby. She's just like, we had 2 enough already. Thanks, huh? All right.